Okay, so I see it's officially 11, so we can actually kick off. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me for this webinar today. The webinar is going to be looking at what's new in civil infrastructure, a look at Autodesk Civil 3D and Infraworks 2021. And it's presented by myself, Shuaib Yunus. I am the BIM technical specialist for civil infrastructure and mining here at Baker Baynes. And today we're going to look at the really cool enhancements done to the 2021 versions of Infraworks and Civil 3D. So let's have a look at a snapshot of what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so let's look at today's session. We're first going to be looking at Baker Baynes. So of course we always have an intro about who we are. Reason being is there's always new people on the webinar, so it'll have a good background or context to who we are and what we do. And then we're going to jive or jump right into the crux of the topic, which is the new features in Civil 3D and Infraworks. So if you just want to have a sneak peek, these are more or less the functionalities that we're going to be looking at today. The road corridor optimization, bridge design, water pressure networks, P&IDs, BIM360 and Dynamo. So these are really, really awesome features, and you will see that it's made a big difference in the productivity and efficiency in design, and overall just really, really cool updates. So if we're looking at us Baker Baynes, in terms of who we are and what we do, we live by the motto of helping you design and make a better world. And that's exactly what we strive to do. And if you want to have a snapshot of more or less the services that we do offer or specialize in, these are the four primary or main segments that we actually do. So it's survey and design hardware consultancy. We partner with a lot of technological brands that you can see on the screen, a lot of logos there. Design software, of course, everyone knows Autodesk, but we also partner with IDIS, ClearEdge, Topcon, Autosoft as well. I will just give a description of them later on. And then, of course, we also believe in a blended learning approach. So we are a blended learning provider, especially in times like this. It's a really, really good advantage to have to help you learn on the go from wherever you're working, be it at home, remotely, or at disconnected offices. And that's where CAD learning comes into play, which I will also be touching on later. We are an Autodesk accredited training center. We are an authorized publisher, as well as a service provider select. It's a really, really niche market to be a part, especially for the service providers select. And you can also find us on the services marketplace as a provider. In terms of the actual segments or infrastructure or manufacturing segments that we actually specialize in, it's actually all of those that you are seeing on your screen. So if you're looking at build, it's more or less your vertical construction, so your architectural buildings, structural designs, anything going vertical, if I could call it that. Then, of course, the segments that I specialize in is civil infrastructure and mining. That's more or less your roads, your transportation, GIS, water, and of course, mining applications. And then, of course, we also cater for the energy and manufacturing sectors, the product design and manufacturing. So we support all key segments and industries throughout the world. And as you can see on the screen, we are a big backer and supporter of those. In terms of the actual technologies that we partner behind, of course, it's Autodesk. First of all, everyone knows Autodesk as the AutoCAD guys. They have developed and grown significantly to be the most adopted software developers in the world. Whether you are in civil engineering, structural, architecture, engineering, construction, mechanical, they've got a product for basically everything. And the design tools are really, really efficient and really easy to use. In terms of 3D laser scanning technologies, um, we partner with two main brands, that being Leica and Topcon. So Leica is predominantly used for interiors and by architects. So you can do interior scans, building scans using the Leica BLK360. That's the machine that you're seeing on the top right. Very small, compact gizmo, if I could call it that, and really, really applicable in today's environment, especially for as-built and renovation. And then at the bottom, we've got the TopCon. So the TopCon looks very, very more rugged. It's more purpose-built for construction and mining applications, and it also has a much greater range in scanning. So there are three different types of GLS 2000 machines. That's the actual model. The first one goes scans up to a range of 150 meters. The second range or mid range is 350, and the large scanning range or high range is that of 500 meters. So that's quite a long distance, and it actually preserves the very, very good millimeter accuracy. Another great technology or partner that we are partnering with is Divotech IDIS. So that's the one you're seeing in the center of the screen. Very, very good tool that works in Civil 3D, and it automates and promotes more BIM efficient workflows, especially when it comes to water design, water networks, sewer reticulations, water reticulation, sewer, stormwater. All of those type of things are really, really much more streamlined using IDIS, as well as road design and intersection design. So if you haven't heard of it, my contact detail will be at the end of the webinar. Drop me a mail and we can chat, but it's a really, really good product. Actually, my next webinar is going to be focusing on the water segment part of things. So please do keep an eye out for that. And then, of course, the main tool that I would recommend to any designer will be that of CAD Learning. CAD Learning is an online tool authorized by Autodesk themselves, which has majority of the Autodesk software on there where you can learn at your own pace. So if you want to learn on the project or on the go, or especially now if you're looking at upskilling yourself, CAD Learning is the best thing. You log in online using whichever browser you use, whether it's Chrome or Firefox or whichever you prefer. You log in and there are pre-recorded videos that you could follow step by step on various software like Civil 3D, Infraworks, Map 3D, Revit, Vehicle Tracking, Inventor, 3ds Max. They are all on there. You can learn that, and then of course you can actually do a skills test to see more or less how far you've gone, which areas you need improvement on, because it generates a um, filtered learning path. That's the word, filtered learning path. So you only focus on the things that you got wrong, and then you can do the skills test again. So really great thing to have as a designer. I personally have it as well. So please look into that. If you want more info, again, I'm here. And then, of course, we facilitate and support all of these technologies and segments using our Baker Baynes consulting methodology that's built on something called iAdopt. In a nutshell, we assess your current situation and needs. We educate you and empower you on adopting technology as well. And we consult to you if you feel that it's a bit out of your depth. And all of those three things are focused on further three segments of your people or your resources, the processes that you're currently incorporating, and your current technology levels. And that allows us to facilitate positive change management into your organization. And this is a very, very critical thing now, especially with current situations where we're actually forced to work from home and work remotely. And it's going to help us to actually still be productive no matter where we are. Again, you can reach out to us. Okay, so that's it. Now that you know who we are, what we do, and how we can help you, let's jump into the actual core focus of today's webinar, being what's new in civil infrastructure with Autodesk. So in a snapshot, this is more or less how Autodesk segments their markets. So here in South Africa, or probably in the engineering field in general, we have civil, structural, then we got geometrics, we got civils in terms of actual site grading, we've got transportation, we've got water, we've got utilities. It's quite broken down. But in terms of Autodesk, they've narrowed it down to three fields in civil infrastructure. So if you're not seeing structural here, it more or less falls under the build segment of things, but we'll have a brief look at that as well. So in terms of transportation, those are the features we can actually be looking at. The biggest or the most major enhancement done today or in the 2021 releases is that of the bridge design interoperability. It has come a really long way and it's become much more dynamically enriched in transportation. which is really, really cool. You will see that just now. And then in terms of the land segment, so in the brackets, I put their services. So this focuses on anything that you would need to facilitate or support land infrastructure. And we're going to be looking at the water pressure network functionalities that are built in. It's much more enhanced in the layouts and editing tools. Also, the incorporation of ArcGIS into our designs, which is a game changer. And then, of course, Dynamo, which is the hot topic in any segment right now. And then, of course, water, I've also put that in segments or in brackets. Plants, this actually refers to the actual plant modeling itself. So if you're thinking of your wastewater treatment plants and your wastewater treatment works, your water treatment plants, the actual modeling of those key infrastructures will be done using Plant 3D, but now we have a built-in integration with it through Revit as well as BIM360 Design, which is a really great thing, and I will be touching on as well. So really good webinar to be a part of. I'm glad that everyone's on here, and let's jump into it. So first of all, where would you actually find these solutions, or do you actually have them now and you actually don't know about it? So let's have a look. So if you do have an AEC collection, which stands for the Architecture, Engineering, Construction Collection, these software are definitely a part of them. And these are all of the software that you are currently entitled to. So if you do have the subscription at your company or firm or in your personal capacity, you should definitely download these solutions from your Autodesk account and make use of them. They are really, really amazing. Today, we're going to be focusing on just those two highlighted there, which is Infraworks and Civil 3D, and you will see how great they are. In terms of cloud applications, now cloud collaboration has become a thing that's very critical. And today I'm going to talk to you about BIM360 Design. So all the designers that are on here currently, we were a bit sad that at first BIM360 Design came out only for the architectural or built environment, where Revit was only the platform that was integrated using work sharing. But now I can confidently and happily say that you can actually use it for Civil 3D and Plant 3D. So I'm going to show you how it can be applied in Plant 3D, as well as just a quick overview on the Civil 3D part. I have done a webinar showing you how to set it up on Civil 3D. If you want more information on that, so infrastructure guys, drop me a mail. I will gladly send you the link that you can have a look at, or you can have a look at our YouTube channel. They are all on there. Okay, so in terms of BIM360, there's a lot of different applications or cloud offerings that can be tailor-made for you. You've got design, that's the most adopted one, if I could say that. It's used by all design teams, especially now that it caters for plant, civil, and vertical infrastructure. You've got coordinate, that's like a Navisworks in the cloud, it helps you to coordinate your stuff, clash detection, that type of things. You've got build, that's more automated for construction purposes. So when you are at construction stages, you can do RFIs, you can do checklists, mobile inspections, and costing as well on there. And then, of course, you've got the other tools for plan and ops for actually just productivity boosts and maintenance. Okay, so now that you have an introduction on who we are and how we can help you, and hopefully that you have access to those tools that I've showed you right now, let's look at the actual features. So in terms of Infraworks and Civil 3D, we're going to start off with the bridges. We're going to look at road corridor integration. We're going to look at Plant 3D and BIM360 Design. We're going to look at pressure networks, Dynamo, and the whole sort. So all of this, as you can see on the right-hand side, it's going to be looking at Infraworks, Civil 3D, and cloud collaboration using BIM360. So let's jump into the road segment. So because I've also got design experience and also a civil design engineer, I have put it in segments that you will understand it better and will relate to you much more better. So I've put it into segments of roads, water plants, and stuff like that. So let's look at what's good in roads. So as you can see, we currently have more corridor creation functionality. And what I mean by that is, if you're looking at how we used to do things previously, Civil 3D was really good at the corridor generation part of things. where you could optimize and create a corridor very detailed and link it to Infraworks, but it wasn't that detailed in Infraworks because it did not have such a dynamic link. It was there, but it wasn't really that great. But now the awesome thing is if you do a corridor design, a very detailed corridor design in Civil 3D, and you import that into Infraworks, it's going to allow you to actually see it in a much more detailed manner, as you can see on your screen. So you will get that actual shape or design level that you are looking at, which is amazing. And also, if you had to make any changes, previously, if we made changes to the corridor, it wasn't that interactive. And what I mean by that is, if you change something in Civil 3D, the corridor did update in Infraworks rather, but it wasn't that connected. Now it allows you to actually do it much more streamlined, much more better, and much more connected. Okay, so if you're making any changes in the detailed part, which is Civil 3D, and you're going to be linking it back to Infraworks, all you've got to do is re-import that, and as you can see, the corridor updates according to your design preference. So it's really, really good, especially for a geometrics design engineer. This is a game changer as well. And it's really great that they've incorporated that and they've listened to the users that this has to be increased. So the dynamic linking between road and corridor optimization, Infraworks and Civil 3D is a really good one. Okay, then we can jump into the actual bridges. So if you are a bridge engineer, structural engineer, you specialize in bridge design, this is really cool. So what they've done is they've made it much more intuitive. What I mean by that is if you have the girders that we normally generated in Infraworks, you can update them and you can actually check out the options much more interactively. As you can see there, the revisions also can be done much more streamlined. So when you're linking it to Revit, first of all, you can map your objects in a really, really, really good way. So the Revit category mapping is really, really done really well. And as you can see, the link is still there and it's much more dynamic. You're going to hear this word a lot. So if you make any changes in Revit and you need to update a revision and you publish it to Revit, you'll get the pop-up as usual. And as you can see, once a change is made and you go to Revit, you will see that your Revit will update as it is. Okay. Also, we all know that the drawing capabilities or plan production in Revit is always amazing for structures, and these also will update as you make any changes. The streamline also now filters to Civil 3D. So once the bridge has been done, you can actually link it to your Civil 3D model or link the road to your Civil 3D model. That too will update. So the connectivity is just getting better and better and better, and it's really, really good. The only thing that I would say from my personal perspective regarding the product, if you have been using it for bridge design, the geometry is not that editable in Revit. Not edible. Guys, don't eat your Revit geometry, but you can actually link in your Infraworks bridge to Revit, but the geometry comes in as if it's a block. So I think they're still actually working on that. So any changes that you make in Infraworks, you will have to literally do it in Infraworks to link it into Revit. So you might ask yourself, why? What's the use of linking to Revit? It's very simple because remember, you're still going to be linking to your road design. So it's going to be linked into Civil 3D, which you're going to need the bridge to be displayed onto your long section. The next thing that you also need to do is do the rebar detailing in 3D. So that you are still able to do in Revit. It's just the geometry at the moment that's a bit of a roadblock currently. But if you do your Infraworks design, the capabilities in Infraworks is really great. So you can get to a really, really good geometry level. Alternatively, if you have access to Inventor, your problem is sorted out because all of the manufacturing and construction segments are converging. So all of your IPT files, if you have any custom components, you can link it to Autodesk Infraworks and you can actually incorporate into your design. I actually did one webinar on this as well for a road curb. You can also check that out on our YouTube channel. the process is exactly the same, whether you're generating a retaining wall, a safety barrier, a bridge deck, a pier, whatever you're looking at. Okay, so that I would say is the biggest improvement in terms of collaboration between disciplines of Civil 3D, Infraworks, and Revit for the bridge. But if you're looking at water pressure pipe networks, they've also created much more enhanced layout tools. So let's have a look at that. So if you have been using Civil 3D, the default water segment or water tools that are built in for it, the modeling part of it, you should have noticed that there was a great pain that if you did model water networks, it did not update the elbows. So if you had made any changes to the elbows, it didn't update. But now, as you can see, it's much more dynamically available. Also, in terms of the offset from NGL level, this also, when you did make any changes, sometimes it updated, sometimes it didn't, and your cover was not maintained. But now with the great new features that have been built into it, it's much more interactive. So if you had to move the pipeline, as you can see, the cover is also maintained. You can also lower your pipe network. If you had to maybe accommodate for a certain feature, that's also available now. And of course, before, if you had to drop in structures around a curve, you could see that the elbows are automatically inserted based on your parts list that you have created. Also, you could insert pipe runs automatically, or you could create an offset from it and it will drop in features for you. And of course, it has intelligent features now, because if you link in pipes, you could add in a branch fitting and it will intelligently choose the right size of fitting for you. So it's a bit like Plant 3D now. Plant 3D is still being more intelligent at this stage, but for utilities or for water pressure networks, it's really good. It's much more interactive and it's much more better for your modeling. Again, we still, or as a designer, I strongly recommend Davidtech IDAS for this. First of all, it works in the water network or the Civil 3D interface. There's no need to export to another program like storm and sanitary analysis. It's more localized to Civil 3D. It's much more dynamic, much more intelligent. The tools for sewer, water, bulk reticulation, pressure pipes, much more better. Analysis, much more better. The interface is much more simpler to understand. So your Mannings, your coefficients, your chassis, you can adjust all of that, your velocities, your pipe coefficients. Also, there are pipe catalogs that are localized for South Africa in there. So all of our municipalities, the catalogs that they would normally use on a daily basis are actually pre-built into that. So it makes your bill of materials much more better to do. So there's a lot of advantages, and also because South Africa, we are in the southern hemisphere. I don't want to mess that up. Southern hemisphere, the location or the coordinate system becomes a bit of a trick in Civil 3D, where you have to do some manual settings. Of course, you do them once, and they do sort out after that. But IDAS also has the conversion built into it, so you can use it anywhere in the world. Again, you'll have my contacts or our contacts at the end of the webinar. Drop me a mail, we can chat about it. The next really amazing tool is Dynamo. So it's not the magician, but I promise you it does do magic in the design space of things. It's applied across the board now, and those professionals that have a background in Python or maybe Grasshopper or visual programming, scripting, you have a really good advantage and head start here, and you're going to see why. First of all, there have been an additional addition to the Dynamo node set. So you can use them for different applications, and as you can see on the right hand side, we can use it for multi-text nodes. So it'll automatically label things based on parameters that you enter. As you can see there, it's a really good feature. It automates a lot of stuff, because sometimes labeling can be a problem, especially if it's a large drawing. Also, the other feature that you would actually look at is also for pipes, labels, also property sets. You will see that just now, where you can actually extract metadata from objects that are automated or automatically placed depending on the visual script that you apply. The visual scripts are available online. You can download them for free. You can go to dynamo.org to get started, also to learn. Please also download the Civil 3D toolkit for Dynamo. That's going to help you a lot to work with it. And there's a lot of resources. I'm actually thinking of doing a beginner's Dynamo webinar course, start from scratch, base level, and we can all kind of progress together. So if you're interested, let me know. I think it'll be a good thing to learn together. But as you can see, Dynamo has really changed the game of automation. I've spoken to a lot of professionals in the transportation field here in South Africa as well, where they've automated the laying of retaining walls along a route. I think it was about 48 kilometers. That's quite a lot. And with the visual scripting tools available to them, they were able to actually automate that along the path, as well as generate volumes and stuff like that. So if you want to see more about Dynamo, head out to dynamo.org or just type in Dynamo Autodesk. You will see enough content on that, enough learning resources, getting started, YouTube channels, and it's a really, really good way to look at upskilling. The feature I'm also really, really, really excited of is the GIS, so Geographic Information Systems. This is also really good because if you are dealing with water projects or projects with a lot of utilities underground or within proximity of your site, you do need the GIS information to be linked into your model. And this is what's great with the linking of ArcGIS into our Civil 3D and Infraworks. So there is an ArcGIS connector that's built in already if you haven't known. And what this does is it allows us to export the set data that we only want to export to ArcGIS. It's bidirectional, so you can also import the key amount or the filtered amount of data into your model. Once you do that, you can also edit it onto the ArcGIS, and you can actually use save back functionality. What is save back? So save back is if you make change to the original database or to the data that you have on your ArcGIS platform, it will save back to the original data. So it's very good because of the relative positioning sometimes can be off. And as you can see, once you do export or sync it, you will see that the data that you do share actually appears onto the platform. Also, Esri is currently offering free trials for, I think, till the end of June to get you up and running on ArcGIS. If you want more info on that also, I can gladly send it to you. It's a really cool and easy thing to learn, and it's a really good thing to learn and link to your civil infrastructure project. Okay, so that's just a snippet on the GIS part of things. The next thing we will look at is water and wastewater plants. So we all know that water and wastewater plants are critical infrastructure and currently or mostly overlooked. So if you are in there, I feel your pain. Well, until now, you do have Plant 3D to actually help you, first of all, model that, and also a lot of other 3D tools that you can manipulate to a degree. I would strongly recommend using Plant 3D, but the general consensus between water designers, civil infrastructure designers, as well as the plant designers is that of coordination and collaboration. We have a lot of back and forth about the relative positioning and connecting the actual water plant to treatment works very fairly close. So sometimes you might have to do the plant in a remote area where it's connected to a lot of closely related infrastructure and you want it to be geolocated and connected correctly. And there was a problem always coordinating data between civil infrastructure teams, civil engineers, structural engineers, water engineers, and stuff like that. Now it's become much more better with the integration of Plant 3D and also Revit. So let's look at the Revit part of things. So your P&IDs, normally your line diagrams, you would normally do that in Plant 3D, right? Now you can actually link it in to Revit directly, which is really, really cool. Because Revit is the flagship product, if I could say that, of Autodesk, really, really widely adopted. closely contested with Civil 3D, and we can bring in that intelligence of Plant 3D, as you can see on your screen, to Revit now. So why is this important? First of all, if you're doing a building, you need to do the MEP and the services linking to the main civil services into Revit. So you would need the building infrastructure part of things to be done, or the connecting infrastructure, hence P&IDs. You need to model that in order for that to tap in and link into your civil infrastructure. So your water, your sewer, your services, your fire protection, all of those type of things, you need to link into that. And your P&IDs form a critical part of it. Now you can actually incorporate that into your buildings. So it's a really cool feature and integration that they've done. When you do adopt it, please let me know how it's going. Another amazing one is that of BIM360 Design. So now we can actually set up projects, as you can see on your right hand side, where we can set up the projects, we can add our teams on there, we can add our roles on there, and now it actually links in directly to your Plant 3D. So you have your links there. That's what you can see there. The file is going to be checked in and checked out. You can do your design, you can update your piping, link it back, and it's connected all to the cloud. So the reason why I keep stressing this is our current situation, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how much we're going to be interconnecting with people face to face, or whether we're going to be just working still remotely for a few months. Cloud computing or cloud platforms that can help you to do that much more efficiently. Now with BIM360 Design, you can actually do that, and you can connect your entire teams. You can set up accesses, you can set up projects, teams, roles, permissions, processes, approval processes. There's a lot of functionality built into the platform, and we have implemented it for a lot of clients at the moment, especially during this time, and it's working like clockwork, really, really good. So if we can help you get up and running, please, please, please get in contact with us. That's what we are here for. We are an advocate for digital transformation, and we will help you set it up, implement it, and get you off and going. And then, of course, I have to also touch on the Civil 3D part. Again, I have done a webinar on this, so you can check it out on our Baker Baynes YouTube channel. But my fellow Civil 3D users and civil infrastructure professionals, you can link Civil 3D now with the cloud computing of BIM360. Okay, so BIM360 Design now links with Revit, Civil 3D, and Plant 3D. So if you have Civil 3D, you will see this in your startup page of Civil 3D. You will see your recent project tabs, and then of course you will see a BIM360 tab. Once you click on that BIM360 tab, it will actually show you the list of projects that you have access to. Again, this will have to be determined by your admin or the person that's in charge of your cloud application. So again, get in touch with me or get in touch with us. We will help you sort that out or give you advice on how to go about with it. Basically, you can connect your teams now where before you had to use a server. So if you have been using data shortcuts to work on different projects, you had to route it to your server. And now at this time, it's not really an ideal thing to do, especially for VPNs. VPNs are a bit problematic, and we've been getting that quite a bit. So why not switch to the cloud? There's also free access to this, where Autodesk has extended their help, where it's accessible to users till the end of June for free. So you can test it out, take it for a drive, have a good look at it, see how it's going to impact you. I 100% tell you that it's going to be game changer, whether you're working now during this time or once all of our restrictions have been lifted. So please look at it, have a look at it. If you don't know what data shortcuts is, data shortcuts allows you multiple infrastructure professionals to work on one file at the same time. Generally, this file is the terrain. So if you have a site, this is data shortcutted by the variety of professionals that can be working on the project. It could be the civil engineer for the actual site design, grading, and platforms. It could be the water engineer who needs to do the water pipe networks. It could be for the structural engineer who needs to do the building footprint I'm getting really tongue-tied today. Building footprints that needs to be actually linked to your site. Then you also would need your geometrics engineer to work on the roads part of it to grant access to the site. You might need your architect and structural engineer to link in their model into there if you want to have a full 3D representation. So you can see the site has become a really collaborative thing already just by my description. And if you did not have data shortcuts, you would not be able to work properly because now one person will have to do their work, save it, close it. The other person needs to open, save it, and then we all have to wait. Data shortcuts eliminates all of that. And now that you can sync it with the cloud, it makes your life very easy to work from anywhere in the world. Okay, there's also an app that you can have on your phone, so you're always connected. And yeah, it's just really, really feature packed. And if you're wondering about Xrefs, if you're an AutoCAD user, yes, it will link to your AutoCAD. And Xrefs are also supported in Civil 3D, and it can also be linked into your cloud, your BIM360 account. Of course, you will need to download a desktop connector that ensures that there's a continuous synchronization from your desktop between Civil 3D and BIM360. And of course, it also works for a variety of file formats. So it's not just Civil 3D, there's BIM360 docs that's built into there. So you can upload PDFs, documents. There's just a lot. I'm going to give you some homework to actually check it out, or again, reach out to me. So yeah, that's a lot of talking for this webinar. Not really used to talking that much, rather more like showing technical content. But let's wrap things up and let you get on with your day. So in a nutshell, those were the 5 or 6 key enhancements that I would say that are a game changer for our applications as civil infrastructure professionals. You can see the bridge design workflow between Revit, Infraworks, and Civil 3D is really amazing, more dynamic. Same with the corridor optimization part. BIM360 Design, a game changer across all platforms, whether you're an architect, civil engineer, a construction professional, anyone in the AEC, architecture, engineering, and construction segment or field, BIM360 is definitely a game changer during this time. So I urge you to please go and adopt it, have a look at it. GIS, if you are a GIS technician or you do work with GIS data, have a look at that. Also check out Esri for your ArcGIS online free trial for this time. It's a good time to actually learn it. Pressure pipe networks, again, if you are using default Civil 3D tools, it has come a long way in terms of its dynamic nature, layouts, and stuff like that, the long sections and stuff. However, if you are looking for more localized content and more streamlined analysis in one platform and not being needed to export to civil site or civil storm and sanctuary analysis rather, Devitek IDIS is the way to go. You can also download their trial from devitekgroup.com. Alternatively, I can send you the link if you reach out to me. And then, of course, Dynamo. If you're doing anything really cool with Dynamo, please share it with me because there's a lot of automation that's built in and people are doing really, really cool things. So that's it. If you want to reach out to us, Baker Baynes Online, those are all of our handles. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can just type in Baker Baynes. Facebook, it's Baker Baynes Reseller. We all just punch in things and search now. So best just type in and we will definitely pop up. Like, subscribe, and check out our content. We're always posting a lot of stuff. There are also fellow professionals in my company where they also host webinars in different segments. So if you're an architect, you also got content on architecture. If you're in mechanical, process plant, energy, mining, we've got professionals in all of them that actually host webinars specific to your niche and your market. So please subscribe. You will get a lot of benefit from that. And then, of course, if you want to reach out to me directly, I always use this from Avengers since it came out. Designers Assemble, let's connect, right? So if you want to connect to me, my name is Shoaib Yunus. I specialize, or I'm the BIM technical specialist here in civil infrastructure and mining at Baker Baynes. I'm also a civil design engineer, and if you want to talk anything civil infrastructure design, definitely we should connect. If you're working on anything cool, you're struggling with anything, you need advice on anything design related, even construction, please reach out to me. We can have a chat. In terms of if you are product segmented or product focused, please, these are the primary focus products that I've got on my screen currently. You will see that I've catered to most of the civil infrastructure products. However, if you are in the structural field, you can also reach out to me because my secondary focus is also on the structural part of things. Although it's in a different segment, South Africa, we are civil structural engineers, and I have consulting background in all of them. So please reach out if you're working on anything we can assist you with. If there's nothing on the screen that actually relates to you and you're not sure, again, you can reach me on LinkedIn. We'll try and figure it out together. My email, shoaib@bakermans.com. So you can hit me up on LinkedIn or you can drop me an email, whichever one you prefer. If you have a topic that you're struggling with or you're struggling with certain things around this time of be it with design, collaboration, you need some guidance, please feel free, especially if there's a specific design topic or design element that you're really struggling with, you hit the wall with and you can't get through it. Tell me, we can actually have a look at it. I could try and maybe do some content on it and we could have a webinar to actually help you. And you might be actually helping a lot of other users that are facing the same problem. So it'll also help me with my topics coming up. Again, my next one is going to be on the water part. So if you have any water infrastructure buddies, or if you are in the water infrastructure game, please subscribe and join me for the next webinar, or tag a friend that will actually be benefiting. It's going to be focused on IDAS, and I will be showing you how it's going to be really good in water design. And then, of course, lastly, the webinars will be uploaded to our Baker Baynes YouTube channel. Damn, that's a lot of talking. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it a day. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this webinar. I hope it was informative. I'll actually allow a few questions, so I'm not going to just cut straight away. If you do have any questions, please use the chat box. We can chat about it quickly before you log off. So yeah, I'll give you a few seconds. So let's just give that a bit. Okay, I see BIM360 design projects. Okay, so there's a question regarding the BIM360 setup or the project setup things, right? How do you go about it? So if you've used any drive, and I literally mean anything. So if you use, I would say everyone has a Gmail account. So if you use Google Drive, if you can navigate Google Drive, you will be able to find your way on BIM360. It's really easy to use. Again, I have done webinars on it. It's on the YouTube channel. Alternatively, if you're looking at an implementation or if you're looking at getting your entire team on board, again, let's connect. I'll just put my contacts back up. Let me just toggle my slide. Just give me a second. Yeah, so just maybe pop me a message, whichever you like, LinkedIn or my work email. We can have a chat about it and see what we can do to help you. So BIM360 is not difficult, guys. Okay, anything else? Revit work sharing and okay, so the Revit work sharing part of things is it works a bit different compared to the Civil 3D environment or the Plant 3D environment. So in Revit, there is an option that when you're working, you got to publish it to the cloud, so hence work sharing. And once you publish it directly from there, it goes to what we call the plans folder in BIM360 Design, and it gets updated automatically. So the versioning control is done automatically. It's much more streamlined. So if you're collaborating, the best example I could use is architect versus structural engineer, right? I know when I was in structures, I always had this problem where I'll do the detailing for a beam, a column, a slab, or whatever, and go to site and see that the revision that the actual architect was on versus what I was on were completely different. There might be a column there now that wasn't there the other day, and then it affects your shears, your spans, your supports, your pins, everything goes off. So that's a nightmare, and this actually avoids all of that. So please have a look at it. Again, reach out to me, we can chat. But good question on that part of things, especially with the work sharing. It does work slightly different. I would say the Civil 3D one is much more simpler and it's much more effective for the civil infrastructure. Anything else? Plan 3D. Yes, so there's a question here regarding the spec creation in Plan 3D. How do you go about doing it? I think my colleague Daniil actually covered this also in his past webinars. Hence, I say please subscribe to our webinar channel. We actually do quite a really good job on predicting what type of content you would like. Again, we have been in consulting. We are also professionals that are design focused. So we know exactly what you would probably need help with and guidance with. So the spec creation part, you can do it yourself. However, you do need to be clued up with Plant 3D to a really, really good level. Also, you need to ensure that your units are either metric or imperial. You can have an option for mixed units, but I really wouldn't recommend that from a good practices point of view. But you can get that done. We also do it as a customized service from our side. We've done it for a lot of large clients here in South Africa and also internationally. So if you are doing any process work, plant modeling, stuff like that, drop me an email. I'll get you in contact with Daniil and we all can have a chat. Okay, I'm just gonna give a few more seconds. I'm glad that everyone's kind of awake today and giving some good questions. Yeah. Water. Okay, I think this is the last question until I speak, and there's probably another one comes through. The water analysis part, how good is it? Okay, so for Civil 3D, how the water analysis part works is you would do the network or you would plot your long section for your water network. That's fairly simple, straightforward. It's the same procedure, I think, in any platform, irrespective Autodesk or not. Once you have these pipe networks done, you would need to export this to storm and sanitary analysis. So if you pay attention or if you look at your desktop, normally when you install Civil 3D, you will see that there's a shortcut called SSA there. All right. So SSA will do the analysis for you. So in Civil 3D, there's an option to say launch SSA. That's where you would do your IDF graphs, your unit hydrographs. You will do all of those IDFs, so intensity, duration, frequency, if you're not familiar with water. You will do all of that. You'll set your peaks, your design periods, and then you'll run your analysis in there. The only thing I don't like is the actual, it's not user-friendly, to be quite honest, especially if you're coming from a Civil 3D interface or Revit interface. It's not that user-friendly. It is effective, don't get me wrong, but for most people that are just diving into it, you will get discouraged because the interface looks completely different. Okay, that's why we recommend Divitech IDIS for that. It works in Civil 3D, so you do everything in the same application. It's just an extra tab. You model, you do your analysis, whether it's gravity works or on land flow. You can set your TCs, you can set your coverages, your C values, all of those things you can do it in there. And of course, the great thing is with the actual catalogs, they are much more designed for here in South Africa. Actually, the catalogs are used throughout Africa, especially the content that's actually generated in South Africa. It's used throughout Africa, also in Mauritius. So I've seen that a lot of our design standards are used there. But if you are working out of Africa, those standards that you need are already pre-built into Civil 3D. So the catalogs, you should not have a problem with that. If you're doing any customized process work, like I said, we do offer the service where we create it for you. So it saves you the headache. And once you create it, it's yours. So that's more or less it. Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, please reach out. I hope everyone is staying safe. You're staying motivated. I'm not sure whether construction is going to be open. Well, I'm really hoping it's going to be open by the end of this month because we all want to just get on with stuff. But yeah, until then or until next week for my next water webinar, take care, stay safe, and happy designing. Thanks, everyone.